Good evening, everyone. I'm David Johnson from Transform Ed Consulting, and welcome to our live chat. Our guest tonight is Anthony Hancock, PhD, and he has over 25 years service to advancing higher education and leadership. His previous roles include being a program liaison with local consortium members, state agencies, school districts, and business and industry leaders, evaluating administrators, faculty, and teachers, and coordinating strategies for student and community outreach. He has led divisions in two of the largest community college systems in Texas. He provided oversight for West Virginia state community and technical college systems, and he is currently serving as an interim president in West Virginia. His leadership targets entrepreneurship and understanding organizations and their impact on city, county, and state stakeholders while fostering change through collaboration. Dr. Hancock's scholarship considers accountability and leadership in higher education, community colleges and Black males, higher education completion, and student engagement. Please welcome Dr. Anthony Hancock. Hello, sir.
Hello, David. How are you doing this evening?
I'm good. And are you in West Virginia now?
Yes, I am in West Virginia.
See, I thought you were in Texas. How did I get it all wrong?
Hey, I've been bouncing around for the last couple of years. I've been in West Virginia about almost going on 4 years. My service to my service to this community is ending on June 30th, and I will be on my way back to Houston.
Back to where?
Houston.
Oh, to Houston. I see. So right now you're interim president.
Yes.
And is that at a community college as well?
Yes, it's Pierpont Community and Technical College.
Pierpont Community and Technical College.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about Pierpont.
Well, Pierpont is one of 9 community colleges in the state of West Virginia. We have probably the third largest enrollment within the state. As most people may realize, that West Virginia only has a population of about 2 million people. Pierpont services 13 counties in the north central part of West Virginia, approximately 50,000 people we service. We are 25 minutes from West Virginia University and about an hour from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, located in Fairmont. We have a student population of about 1,600 students. That includes about 700 FTEs, as well as our non-credit students who are working towards credentialing and workforce programs. So we do academic transfer as well as we do as nursing, welding, petrochemical, process technology, et cetera, like most community colleges across the country. We have a really great culinary arts program, and we have wonderful faculty and staff who are who have the vision and the mission of community colleges in their blood.
And at one time, you were at St. Philip's College in San Antonio.
Yes, I spent 15 years in Alamo colleges as either, doing multiple roles. I worked for the district for approximately 8 years. And then when I went to UT to get my dissertation, to get my advanced degree, I came back and I started working at St. Philip's College, which is a historical Black college and Hispanic serving institution.
And so what's your path? Where did you start? And tell us how you got to where you are today.
Well, my path, I try to share the story, especially with students. I started when I say it, most people, their eyes open. I started in Western Pennsylvania and I moved to Texas back in 81. And I'd done multiple jobs. I had a high school diploma, no college degrees. I'm a non-traditional student. I had a major life-altering event in September of 1992. Where I used to be a truck driver for 5 years and had an accident. And they told me, okay, you need to figure out what you want to do with the rest of your life. And so I entered community college, San Antonio College, and I got the education bug. I realized that with the wife and 2 kids, an associate's degree was not going to pay the bills. And so I continued and when I got my bachelor's and when I got my master's degree. And then I worked for Alamo colleges for about 7 years, and I realized that in order for me to advance in the academia world, in the academic world, then I needed to get that advanced degree. I knew that would open quite a few doors. I realized that I wanted to become a college president one day, and so I entered the University of Texas, and here I am today. And I worked my way through the ranks. I started as a job development specialist. I was a program coordinator, like in my CV, and was a director and just was not so much what you call hungry, but this goes to, I think our chat is really about understanding the space that you occupy and determine how do you affect that particular type of space. And if you're in higher education, we're dealing with students every single day, especially community college students. And so therefore we have open access. So we get everybody. We don't have the luxury like a Harvard or Princeton or Yale to be selective in our enrollment. So we get everybody. So understanding that dynamic in higher education and that we get everybody, we are setting an example. We are emulating what we really want to be. So therefore we have influence on people's lives. And so I got the education bug early on.
So Anthony, you are the personification of what you espouse.
I try to be. Well, it's always an uphill challenge in anything we do in life. And as you are moving and understanding what your goals are and what your objective is, what your vision is, you have to make sure that you're very intentional and you have to stay the course. And we know, we have phobias within ourselves. And so we struggle with those internal dynamics, those external dynamics with family and friends and telling us what we should be doing. I always call it, at the end of the day, I heard a presentation in Miami where, we talk about dream killers. You got this fantastic idea. And you can't wait till your significant other wake up because it's 4 o'clock in the morning, you pacing the floor, you drinking coffee. You can't wait till your significant other wake. And so as soon as that person wake up, and sit down and had their cup of coffee and they look at you like, you've been up all this time. Yeah, I got this great idea. This can be anyone, but I always say it's a significant other. And then you share that epiphany with that individual, that thing that you just figured out. And they look at you like, well, why would you want to do that? I call those dream killers, and you got to keep them on your periphery. You got to keep them on the sidelines. You know that they're there. You know who they are. They sometimes won't change. So you stay the course, and you stay the course for the right reason. Make sure that your values and your ethics are in check, and those are non-negotiable. So as you're moving up the leadership ladder, whether it's in higher education or corporate America, we will always be challenged. People will always challenge us because if they know what your price is, they know what your price is.
Well, Anthony, that's good advice. And I'm sure our listeners, particularly students, will gain from your experience and the things that you recommend and advise. Well, shall we jump in? Our topic today is leadership and accountability in higher education. And you would be the man who could speak on this topic. And looks like we have, 5 bullets. And then one is 5 practices of exemplary leadership. Where shall we start?
I think, when you reached out and I started thinking about this is what I live every single day. It could be whether you're a president or whether you are a dean or whether you're a mid-level manager. When you come into an organization and understanding the organization, what you're trying to do, you have to build this culture of trust. You have to understand what the culture is and how do you build this culture of trust. When you have naysayers on the sidelines, you have curmudgeons on the sidelines, you have those people who just for whatever reason will not change. And so how you build this culture of trust in leadership, you come in with a vision, and everybody's not going to buy into your vision. And so what people have always shared with me and what my mentors have always shared with me and mentored me in is that when you hit the ground, you're listening, and you are listening intently. You're understanding other people's personal dynamics and professional dynamics, right? You make sure that when I say listen intently, you're not listening to respond, that you're genuinely hearing what people are having to say. And at the end of the day, you can take action on some of those things because people bring in a wealth of information and knowledge. So when I was transposed here in West Virginia, in North Central West Virginia, my institution, these individuals had been there 10, 15, 20 years. So I'm the odd man out per se. So they're looking at me, and some are looking at me for answers. And some are looking at me and saying, who is this person? We'll just wait him out. And so that's when you sit down and you're having these open conversations about, not strategies, but what are the problems? What are the issues, right? How do we collectively attack what those issues and those challenges are, whether it's from students, whether it's coming from people internally. And so that's when you start building this culture of trust and then developing the vision part. I tell people when I came on to my institution.
Well, Anthony, let me stop you for a minute.
Okay.
Let's go back to that topic, building culture of trust.
Yes.
Now, the way this bullet reads, and somewhat the way you spoke about it, you're suggesting that the leader has responsibility for building a culture of trust. So let's look at the word culture for a minute.
Okay.
Who determines the culture of an organization? Does that? I had spent a lot of time in the Air Force, and we used to say that it it all runs downhill.
Right.
If you know what I mean. And so that's suggesting that the commander or the top person in the unit, in the organization, is establishing what the culture would be.
Right.
So is that what you're suggesting, or does the culture exist already? Because as you said, there will be people that somewhere who have been there 15 years, and you show up on day one. Who is responsible for culture? Okay,
so that's a really great example of a hierarchical organization.
Okay.
Right. In a flat or cross-functional institution, where even though they hired me and put me in the chair to make the decisions, I cannot be the one who can drive innovation and change, because I need everybody on my team. We're all pushing the same boulder in the same direction. Mentor told me one day, you can have all the vision in the world, you can be the most intelligent person in the room, but at the end of the day, when you rally the troops and say, come on, let's go, you turn around, they're all sitting there, you got a problem. So this goes to the culture of the institution. The culture was already established before I got there. I have to scan the environment. I have to have intentional conversations, not just with the VPs of the institution or the chief financial officer of the institution. I got to have a conversation with the security officers who's walking around the organization. I have to have the conversation with classified and non-classified staff, and understanding what are their fears and what are their hopes and desires and vision for the institution. The culture's been there. So I'll give you an example. The culture when I came in was an institution, and I knew this going in, that didn't follow through, right? There was some not following through challenges with this institution. And so as I recognized that coming in, and then I sat in the chair and I start, asking people to provide me this and providing me that type of documents or information, I'm sitting back and I'm watching and I'm paying attention who's meeting those types of deadlines, right? And that's why I put in here, accountability is not static, because it's all of us within that institution that needs to hold everyone accountable, moving the institution forward. So one,
I'm going to interrupt you again. Okay. All right. Trust. Right. What is trust by your definition? Now, you tied accountability and trust together. Right. So by your definition, what is trust?
My definition of trust is, it's not what I know, it's how I engage with individuals and give them the opportunity to make mistakes without repercussions. It is about not talking down to people, from the janitor to the security guard to the president of the institution. We're all on the same level playing field. We just have different responsibilities and different titles. And if I become an autocratic individual and just giving marching orders, people are not going to trust me, right, to do the right thing, because I'm just results driven.
All right, I'm going to interrupt you again.
Okay.
Would you say that trust and reliability are the same? Do they have the same meaning?
No.
Go on, explain the difference between the two.
Trust is when based on all my actions and who I am,
Right.
that I got your back.
Okay.
Without any expectation of a reward, other than the fact that I believe in you
Okay.
and I got your back.
Okay. All right. Another topic, vision. I always laugh, or maybe I stumble on the term vision. We spoke about culture. You join an organization where the wheels have already been turned. It's already in motion. It's rolling along. And
Right.
you're jumping onto a moving train, let's say.
Right.
Whose vision is important? Do you match vision to where the organization wants to go? Or do you bring your own vision and cause them to go where you want to go?
Well, that's a really, really interesting question, to be perfectly honest with you. Because when the vision is mine. The vision is from the leader of the institution who comes in, has scanned the environment, understanding the culture within that institution, understanding the industry in which you reside in, trying to determine where you want this institution to go. So in my case example, I'm gonna put it in this context. We are a community college, and our community college sits on top of a hill, right? And so if you go out I-79, you can see that college on the hill, right? And so everybody in this community know that that college is on the hill. And so here's what I shared with the team, the people that I serve. I said, I don't want us to be the college on the hill, because that means that we're the only game in town for a community college. I want us to be the institution of choice, right? That's my vision for my institution, is being the institution of choice. Now, people would ask, well, what does the institution of choice look like, Dr. Hancock? Here's the vision. Because I understand my craft in higher education as a student-centric leader, everything that I do surrounds getting that individual student who comes on my campus to get him or her where him or her want to be, not where I think they should be. Right. And so if I say that we're the institution, we're the college of choice, how do I then build a strategy around my vision?
All right, now let me take that somewhere else How do you build a strategy around your vision? Now, I will accept how you describe vision there.
Right.
I would say also that there is an expression that applies, and that is a new broom sweeps clean. And I say that a new broom sweeps clean regardless of whether the broom intended to sweep clean.
Right.
So in other words, the new guy on the block shows up. He or she is doing things the way that person believes it should be done. Right. Now you got these others where the wheels on the train have already been rolling. They've been doing it this way for 15 years. And now they're looking at somebody else. Like you said, they could just wait you out, or they could jump ship right away because the new broom is sweeping clean, whether it wants to do so or not.
That's right.
So how do you get buy-in? How do you get people to accept your vision and stay on board rather than jump off ship?
Well, see, it's not whether they're going to accept my vision, whether they're going to buy into my vision at the end of the day. Those individuals in my mind, 80% of individuals within an institution, they already see something, a sea of change coming. They want change. They embrace change, right? That's that 80%. They can feel it. Then I got that 10% who are going to sit on the fence and is just going to watch and see, right? They're the ones that's going to see, oh, let me see what this guy's about. Let me see where he's going to take us. I mean, you got to, if I was from Missouri, you got to show me, right, that I can follow you wherever you go. Then I got that 10%. I don't care what you say, what you do. They're just the naysayers in the room. And you know what I do with those individuals? I sit them on the sidelines, and they get to sit there as long as I'm in charge, because I'm not going to waste or spend my time, what I've learned over years, trying to convince you that this is the right thing to do. So if you want to wait me out, try to wait me out. But what happens is, as you're moving the institution forward, remember you got that 80%, they're going to grind, they're going to do the work, they're going to, because I'm listening to them, I'm hearing, they're making recommendations, I'm holding them accountable for the solution. I'm not the solutions guy, right? I have enough experience in 25 years where I can say, yeah, I am the solutions guy. But if I need for people to buy into my vision, if I'm trying to build this culture of trust, then they are the ones that are going to be drivers of change within the organization. And those individuals who have been there those 15 and 20 years and see those 10%, and they know who that 10% is, they're saying, well done, Dr. Hancock. Well done, Anthony. We got finally someone who will sit them on the sidelines and don't be part of their naysayers and don't listen to them. You just keep them there.
It sounds like what you've described as being a facilitator.
Exactly. A facilitator, a mentor. There are many words for it.
I want to tie two things together here. You sort of suggested this earlier. Trust and accountability. Accountability is not static. Does that mean then that trust is not static? That you never finish earning someone's trust?
That is correct. But those are two different dichotomies, because the trust is forever fluid, right? That once people believe it's not what you know, it's knowing that you care about them. You got their buy-in, you got their trust. And when I talk about accountability is not static, let's use an example for, I'm gonna stay in the higher education arena. Say, let's look at student services. I have a VP of student services, right? I have a director of student services. I got a director of financial aid, et cetera, et cetera. The person that I hold accountable is my VP, because I need that person to be up here, right? Facilitating and directing, right? I'm also holding those who directly report to her accountable for what they need to achieve, because the strategy and the vision for the institution is to do this and to do this. And so if I call one person out, for example, a VP, I'm holding that VP accountable, but it's just not that VP. It's those individuals who are under him or her who are being held accountable as well. Because
so you're saying what I said earlier, that it all rolls downhill, it all flows downhill.
No. Doesn't roll downhill.
Go ahead.
It goes back and forth at the end of the day, because I expect the people that I work with to hold me accountable as well.
Okay.
Right. And even though I wear the president hat, I'm accountable to other people. I'm accountable to my board of governors. I'm also accountable to the institution. I'm accountable to my K-12 partners. I'm accountable to my business and industry leaders. I'm accountable to all of those individuals. So that's why it's not static as well. It's fluid and it goes both ways. If you're going to be great in the things that you do, being good is okay. Being good is mediocre for some, right? But how do you drive innovation and change within an organization if you don't build the trust, develop the vision, and earn the leadership?
All right, let's talk more about earning leadership. Give examples or even tangible, practical things that persons can do to earn leadership.
One, model the way, right? You got to model the way. If there's a piece of paper on the ground, even though I'm the president, guess what I'm going to do? I'm pick up that piece of paper, right? If I need to teach a class because I have a faculty member who decided they wanted to quit at the last minute, I'm going to tell them, hey, I'm credentialed to teach in that. You don't even have to pay me. I can afford that opportunity to do something like that. After all these years, I put myself in those positions. The other part of this is you have to inspire a shared vision. Even though I have the vision coming in, what I believe this institution could be, I have to walk the walk at the end of the day. I have to consistently every day tell the people that I serve that we are the college of choice. We are a student-centric organization, that we are here to serve our community.
You know, Anthony, you actually put all these things together. There's like they're all in the same bucket. Or if you can have a multi-sided coin, building a culture of trust, developing a vision, earning leadership, accountability. That's all one big piece that, as you described it, must be taken together.
Right. And I'm gonna give you another example. As I was preparing for this conversation with you, I went back to my personality assessment in 2014. And then I went to my personality assessment in 2019. I am not that person in 2014. And I'm not that person that I was in 2019. Because in 2014, one of my reports, direct reports said, and I quote, "Anthony, don't listen. Anthony has all the answers."
Oh.
And in my 2019 assessment, right? It was, and now I have 250 people reporting to me. And in that 2019 assessment, it said, well, Dr. Hancock makes these decisions without even considering how we feel and how we think. Same thing from 2014, same thing to 2019. And by the time that I came here by the time I came here, in 5 years at my institution at Houston Community College,
right,
what I realized is that I've modeled leadership because I read copiously. I reached out to my mentors. I looked at the personality assessment as I read it. And it is about understanding, when I talk about building trust, modeling that way, I'm talking about consistently inspiring people, challenging the process, right? As opposed to the processes, the onus is not on me. The onus is on the institution and everybody who works at the institution. And what are those processes that are in place that are artificial barriers to change in an organization? And you challenge that constantly every single day, right?
All right, Anthony, I'm going to get you again.
Okay.
We have 2 minutes remaining.
All right.
So of that last topic, 5 practices of exemplary leadership, hit one.
I go with encourage the heart, right? People need to believe, if they're going to believe in what you're saying and what you're sharing and what you're doing. You know, people know that I wear my heart right here, and I'm a very optimistic person. I believe the world is a great place to operate, and there are good people in this world, but people just need a chance to prove their worth to themselves. And if I don't encourage people and encourage the heart the way that I believe, in order for me to function in this environment, right? People need to know that you care about them, about their work, right? About what's going on outside the office sometimes, you know, to understand who people are. You don't have to delve into people's personal lives constantly, but you need, when they walk on campus, you need to say good morning. You need to say good afternoon.
So you're talking about a heart-to-heart connection with people.
That is correct.
Instead of intellectual relationship with persons.
That is correct.
You know, you might know this term, but I've heard good people say you're doing God's work.
I told somebody today when we were doing Employee of the Year award, I told them if we all have phobias, if we didn't, there would be no John 3:16.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. So it really is.
Sir, we have a minute. We have a minute. So what would be the takeaway you'd want people to have from our conversation this evening?
Well, and it goes to number 4, you know, enable others to act. Give people the permission to be who they are and be in a position to be able to mentor individuals, right? That comes with listening to individuals and understanding what their challenges are, what their dreams, goals, and aspirations are.
So what's your call to action? What do you want people to do with all of this knowledge?
I want you to walk into your office tomorrow and challenge the process. I really do. I want you to do a 365 scan on the environment and understanding what's not working. And how do you collectively meet with individuals and try to figure out how to make it work?
And if people want to know more, how do they contact you?
They can contact me. I'm on LinkedIn, or they can shoot me an email at dr.ahancock@hotmail.com. Either or, I'm good.
Great. Well, Anthony, it's been a pleasure having you here as our guest tonight. I'm David Johnson from Transform Ed Consulting, and I should give our thanks to my dear colleague, Cassandra Williams, who is the brains behind Educational Innovations 360 Degrees, and she allows us to use her channel and allowed us to have this great conversation with Dr. Anthony Hancock. Sir, it's a pleasure having you here, and I wish you well.
Pleasure's all mine. Be well.
Okie doke.